everyone, Haley Hodges, your Utah Realtor here with Utah Homes Network. Today we are going to talk about the buyer-agent agreement and what that means as a buyer and as a consumer. What is included in this buyer-agent agreement? Why do you have to sign it? All this good stuff. So essentially, the first step in the process is going to be you're going to interview realtors. You're going to see who you jive with and who you want to represent you in the home buying process. After that step, oftentimes you're going to go into an agreement with your realtor, often signing a buyer-agent agreement or a buyer-broker agreement. And this is agreeing to you allowing the realtor to represent you on your behalf. So once this is signed, at that point, no other realtor is going to represent you. This is going to be the realtor that you agree to and the brokerage that they represent. So keep in mind, this is a buyer-broker agreement. And in the state of Utah, your agreement is within the brokerage, not necessarily your realtor. It will specify your realtor, but at the end of the day, that agreement is with the brokerage. So for example, for me, I work for a brokerage named Utah Homes Network. So that buyer-agent agreement is under Utah Homes Network, and that is who the agreement is originally with. But then we also specify that I would be your agent and who's working on your behalf. Now, when you're signing the buyer-agent or buyer-broker agreement, sorry, I keep getting all tongue-tied for a minute, but with the buyer-broker agreement, you are going to want to look at a few things. The first thing you're going to want to look at is the timeline. So how long are you under contract with these people and with the brokerage? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? How long is that relationship? The reason that's important is because let's say it takes you your agreement's for 6 months and it takes you 6 months to find a home and you still haven't found anything yet, your agreement will expire. So at that point, you have two options. You either renew the agreement with your agent or you can go look to work for another agent because at that point, the time is lapsed. The other thing you're going to want to look at is the commission structure. What is your buyer's agent charging for them to represent you? Now, keep in mind, more often than not, the seller is going to compensate the buyer's agent for their services. But let's say you sign an agreement with your buyer's agent at 3% commission for finding you a home and helping you through that process. And the seller is only willing to offer 2.5% to pay and compensate a buyer's agent. We are now dealing with half a percentage that's from your contract with your buyer's agent that's missing from the seller and what the seller's willing to pay. So this is something you're going to want to ask your agent. If they're not offering whatever the agreed upon commission structure is, how does that work? And so oftentimes you may be responsible for that. Based off how the contract's originally written, you would be, as the buyer, you would need to come up with that additional 0.5% to compensate your buyer's agent. Some agents will say, and they'll draft an addendum, that if the buyer's agent commission, also known as the BAC, is different than what's agreed upon in your buyer-broker agreement, they will reflect that in the contract. So you're not having to pay anymore. So these are some questions that you're going to want to ask. Now, the last part, and in my opinion, the most important part of the buyer-broker agreement is it lays out the fiduciary responsibilities that your agent has to you as the consumer. So this will lay out all of the duties and responsibilities that they need to uphold, also known as the minimum service requirements that they are required to do by law, by being a licensed realtor, to make sure they are looking out for your best interest. So you're going to want to look through all of those. Every state might be a little bit different, so I'm not going to lay them out here, but I am going to include a copy of Utah's exclusive buyer-broker agreement so you can see in the state of Utah what agents are required to do and how they take care of you. But if you are watching this video and you are in a different state, I highly recommend that you go to the Division of Real Estate in your particular state and download a copy of this form so you can have an idea of what the minimum service requirements are in your state. But that overall is encompassing and just giving you a run through of what the exclusive buyer-broker agreement is. The purpose of it is to protect you as the consumer and outline the relationship you have with your agent. And that way you know kind of what you're getting into and working with the particular agent once you choose who you want to hire. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or you can shoot me a text message at 801-917-6765, and I am more than happy to answer and walk you through any questions that you may have. And that's it. I'll see you on the next video.